telling my little sister a couple days ago about how 48 laws of power. You're not supposed to take the whole thing into the heart. Take certain aspects and spin it to your own personality
Mm-hmm.
and make it work for you because they'll make you a supervillain.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. It's
Mhm.
building a super villain. He's ready for that. He's like, yo, what book is that?
Yeah.
Is it,
This world, this world, you can only succeed if you're a supervillain.
That's a fact.
I disagree heavily.
Nah,
Heavily.
but you
I
look
think
at
I think some of the poorest people in the world are the happiest people on the planet.
that's true, but he said succeed.
Yeah, but what is your definition of success? Isn't it just happiness?
It's
Because you could have everything in the
financial
world.
freedom.
You could have all the money in the world and still like how many billionaires, millionaires do we know that committed suicide? Shouldn't that be impossible if money is the root of all success?
But because they are not a true villain.
So they
I
didn't
think-
shit on niggas enough?
No, I think they're still. I think the real shit. I think to be successful, you need to scrap your humanity.
You can't have any sense of like human nature.
Yeah, you gotta not be attached to certain things that people would be
Just
attached
complete detachment.
to. Yeah,
Wouldn't that drive a
I-
person insane?
and I think that's why they're successful.
But wouldn't that drive a person insane to
But
be
I-
that detached for that long?
I think.
Who do you relate to?
I
at
think
that point?
Elon Musk is a perfect example. I think Jeff Bezos is a perfect example. Like these
I
people.
think those people are. I personally would never want to be Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk a day in my life.
Yeah, because they don't
Because-
have humanity.
Not that. I think that they have so much pressure on their shoulders to be who they are
I don't
that
think
they
have
live
pressure,
every
man.
waking minute, every waking moment to either innovate, change, make some kind of imprint. Like they don't realize that they're done.
Fam.
You know, like I feel like in their heads they're still trying to achieve something, but they're not. They have nothing left to achieve. I
Brother.
think it's kind of like a sickness.
I agree with you and I disagree. I think when you're at that level, like, you know how many scandals these niggas, fam? Elon Musk's dad slept with his step granddaughter,
Ew.
and I think he was, but that's besides the point. Like, I
Mhm.
think, like, and that was only a 1 week story. Like, we don't even talk about that anymore. Like, I think reputation when you're at the top is money. Like, you just pay the media to talk about whatever the hell they want to talk about. Like, I'm sure Elon Musk threw money at CNN to never talk about a few things, you know? Like, there's no reputation at that point. You're building. It's like what we were talking about earlier. You know how you create the child? You create what you want people to hear, and now they think you're awesome.
No, but I
They have
think
no pressure.
the benefit. I don't know if it's benefit. I don't know what the real thing is. It's Elon Musk. I always thought it. I just looked it up right now. He has Asperger's.
Yeah,
So I
he
think
does,
that's
but
essentially a sense of he didn't have some social awareness of himself.
Mhm. That makes a lot of
So I
sense.
think
actually.
yeah,
I
a
didn't
lot of
even know
that
that.
becomes much more easier of him
Mhm.
being a shrewd businessman
Mhm.
if you have that sense of social awareness turned off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's essentially the detachment that you were just talking about.
yeah,
right?
but I think that's his avenue. But I think a lot of people to find true like American success, like on this side of the world,
Mhm.
you have to detach yourself from a lot of things. That's why, like listen, Nike does all these awesome things, but in reality, the shoes that I'm wearing right now was created in some factory in the middle of India with these 4-year-olds are making them, right?
Mhm.
Like, and this is a decision that the CEO had to make in a meeting with a board of directors,
Mhm.
and they all agreed that it's better for these 4-year-olds who they're getting paid like 1 cent an hour
Mhm.
to do over paying minimum wage over here in the United States, right? You have to destroy your humanity to get on par with the certain niggas that are up there. Like, these niggas have no heart, fam. They would sacrifice you
Mhm.
for a burger, fam.
Fam, what are you talking about? They'll sacrifice me so that their friend's son's
Yeah.
buddy in school can get a burger.
I'm,
fam.
like,
You kidding me?
like they really would.
He speaks from experience. Did you
Sold a
connect
nigga
that?
for a burger.
That's why I will never find true American. Like, though I will, in my head, I will be successful,
Mhm.
but I'll never be on par with those niggas because there's still a level of humanity in me that I can't step over people to get. Like, I think I couldn't sleep at night.
I think this conversation is more so like a level, or this is the topic of capitalism, right? Because in capitalism, the bottom has to stay at the bottom.
Yeah.
The people who are at the bottom are the reason why the chain works the way it does. Because, like you said, the people at the top don't give two shits about
They
the
don't.
people at the bottom, and they need those people to be at that state so that they can have what they have.
Yeah,
Right? So it's like
yeah.
an endless cycle of despair, essentially, for the bottom, you know? And that's slavery in a sense, right? But
Modern slavery.
But the rest of the world thinks that that's the quote unquote American dream, is like that's the American dream, is to like work your way up the ranks and get to
Mm.
this, like, you know, some kind of a high level status, you know, but you can't do that in certain, like, people at the service level, for example, like, you know, like post office and shit like that, they're never gonna be, they have such a little chance, maybe almost 0.00 some percent of being a billionaire or some kind of like a Jeff Bezos level rich. So to have those like, to have that instilled in people's mind that the harder you work, the better you'll be in life, is a little bit crazy to me. You know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so we know that certain people aren't getting past this level, right? They have to not be able to get past this level, right? It's not an even level playing field, right? Knowing that, do you still rise, like climb the ranks to get some kind of success in your life, or do you get it? Do you get like some kind of like comfortability with where you are? You know, like is that not a better way of living life instead of just always trying to achieve the most you can possibly get? That's the question.
I think it's the innovators and inventors dilemma with guys like Elon Musk. This guy came from South Africa, went to school, and then created PayPal, I think, while he was in school. And then he went from PayPal to, I think, something else, and then went from something else to getting his way into Tesla, which was already a company. And then he went to took over Tesla. Then so stuff that he has in his mind, this all this creative stuff that he has in his mind that he wants to achieve, and he'll do anything to achieve that. And I think it's an itch that once you start, you can't stop.
I agree. I think that's, you bring up a really good point. I think that once people start to get a layer of success or some kind of sense of success, it brings them to some kind of, it kind of almost fuels them to go for more, right?
Exactly.
But is that,
I don't really agree with that.
you don't think so?
Like, maybe like when you say success, I think we need to determine what type of success we're talking
Financial
about.
success. I just mean
Like for me, if right now, if I was to step over somebody
mhm,
to gain a little bit of like success through like money,
mhm.
like I don't think I could sleep at night because what I said earlier. I think I still have that humanity in me, and I just think that money is blood. You know?
That's fair. But that being said, let's say you were a business owner, right? And you were, let's say you were a CEO of a company,
Yeah,
right? And you're making 7 figures a year,
yeah.
and you're, let's say you have factories, you know, and whatnot, and the people that are working in your factories are making minimum wage. Would you be able to sleep at night?
That's a good question.
That's
And
capitalism
yeah,
for you.
that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's a really good question. I think that that situation I'd be fine with because those people can grow up, go up the ranks, get better jobs, and then eventually be like either take my job. You know, like if somebody is like has the skill set that they need to get to the top, like I think it's to create that type of avenue of if you put the work in, you can become the next successful person in this company. I think that is a good concept to have with a company. But the thing that I'm kind of gearing to away from is when they have these factory shops in the middle of these third world countries with these children or
Mm-hmm.
people who don't have anything better to work for them for 4 cents an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and then getting the success here in North America. I think that in itself is like I don't understand how you can sleep well at night knowing that there's a 3-year-old making your sneakers in India. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think that's personally what I think is crazy.
I
But
agree, but that 3-year-old also needs that for his family. You know, like the living style over
Yeah,
there.
I get that,
The
but
living
it's
style over there is like, yo, we are, all our kids need to work, or else we're not gonna eat. You know,
yeah.
so like they're basically forced to do that. That's their only opportunity there. You know, so like
But do
it's,
you think it's the fact that they don't have to face nothing? So the COO tells someone, "Yo, you go to that country, go get the deal done." They don't have to look at the what the actual floor is.
yeah, that's a really good point too. Like these
Yeah,
people, most of the people that are at the top, they almost hide themselves from the reality of some of the traumas and shit that they cause for business sake,
hmm
and that I guess helps them sleep at night. Yeah, I didn't
yeah.
have to see it my own two
I
eyes.
get that.
You know?
If it's out of mind, it's out of sight.
Yeah,
Like, you know?
yeah.
But
Phil Knight,
still, bro, it's still happening.
Phil Knight's not going to Malaysia. The guy from
100%.
Nike. Yeah.
100%. He's never going there. He
He's
knows
not
what's
there.
going on.
Mm-hmm.
He 100% knows. He probably doesn't even know to the extent that it's going on. He probably doesn't want to know.
Yeah.
You know? So like there is that layer of humanity still, but I think you're right when you say that it becomes some kind of a detachment. As the higher you get, you have to
Yeah,
get
you have
detached.
to. You have
know?
to. You have to be willing to step over people. You have to be willing to betray people. You have to be fam. I think these people would betray their own mothers. if,
Yeah, yeah.
if shit hit the fan, I think they would be willing to sacrifice their kids. You know,
That's mod, bro.
like
And that's scary about this world, bro. Like people see money as this like weird magical thing that can just change everything. But it's just a tool to get some other things, you know? It's really not. It's not the end game. It's not the life-changing aspect that everybody thinks it is for the most part, you know?
essentially. Let me ask you a question. What does money mean to you, though?
That's a great question. The question is, to be honest with you, money is, like I said, it's a tool for me to get to where I need to be next, you know? I don't ever want to be the richest person in the world, ever, or
Okay.
even near that,
Okay.
ever, because I don't think I don't need all that comes with that, you know? And another fact is I don't want to feel responsible for other people. That I don't want to feel too responsible for a group of people that I don't know or I've never engaged with or anything like
What
that.
do you mean by that?
Like when you become billionaire status, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people look into your donations and
Oh,
like your charity
philanthropy?
work. Yeah, philanthropy. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't want that responsibility. I want that to be from the bottom of my heart. You know what I mean?
Fair.
So the level of scrutiny that comes with it, and just the pressures of being that kind of financially stable
Mhm.
is unnecessary to me. Like I wouldn't mind, like obviously I want to be in a better financial position than I actually am, but
Yeah.
money to me isn't the end all be all. Like I'd much rather have the conversation we're having before is I'd much rather have time than money. Like
Okay.
obviously I'm not gonna get time without money, right?
Yeah.
But I think those things go hand in hand, and people aren't focused on the right things. Like of course you're gonna have aspirations to be rich or to have an abundance of than you have at the moment, but are you willing to sacrifice your good years, or like your 20s and 30s to achieve that in your later years? And are you also certain that when you get there you'll know what to do with it, or you'll have some sense of like accomplishment? Like there's so much variables in that I feel like people are just mindlessly chasing the next dollar figure,
Mhm.
and they're sacrificing a little too much to get there, in my opinion. So when you ask me what does money mean to me, fam, it means enough to me to understand that it's a tool that I can use to get places in life, but I have to value the time that I have on this planet more, you know.
That's
So,
fair.
but give me your take on it.
Can I ask a question though?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you had the opportunity to save up, because I've been seeing this a lot on TikTok of people customizing their vans and their cars and stuff, and to like they do freelance work, they may do freelance photography, whatever,
Mhm.
just to make extra income. Would you guys do that?
What do you mean by that? What? Like,
Customize a van to make it livable.
yeah.
So get a bed, get a mini kitchen, get whatever is essential for you,
Yeah.
and then
Basically, downsize your life.
No,
You
I'm
mean?
good. I'm good.
downsize the life and completely into, because some people seem happy like that. They just
That's the thing,
completely
like,
move into
It's a good question
a
because
boat or
I don't think
truck.
I don't think necessarily downsizing. I think it's person to person. You have to know what you want in life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think you have to understand which your actual goals are. Right? Do I want a big house? Do I want a fancy car, a fast car? Do I even want a vehicle? Like those things you have to know in life first. And materialistic stuff can be achieved through hard work. I really do think that. But for the most part, when you start to see lifestyles, like when you start to have like a desire for a lifestyle, like this rich, absorbingly rich person that people respect a lot, I think that's where things like people start to think that money can buy that, and I don't think that that's as attainable as people think, right? So it's about your comfort level, right? So for me, I think rough estimate, I think for me, if I was making 7 figures for like annually, I think I could control that to the point where like I have enough time on my hands, I have enough money on my hands to do whatever I want. But anything after that, to me, is gonna become a little shaky.
So minimum a mil a year.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or like in that general range, just based off of how the the market in Toronto is and how living style is in Toronto and stuff like that. But if I was living in a different part of the world, maybe that number would be significantly less. So it's just about what I'm comfortable with, you know. And I personally would love to live in Toronto to end my days. But
You'd want to stay in Toronto?
yeah, if I could afford it.
It's expensive, bro.
That's what I'm saying. If I
It's
could afford it,
expensive. Like,
if I could afford it, yeah. I'd
do you
love
know
to
do
live
you know what
here.
these rent prices are going for?
If I'm making 7 figures a year, then yeah,
Yeah, that's
that'd be
okay.
cool.
That's fair.
But you know, like it's just about your comfort level. You know, like I don't see myself in Toronto specifically. It's gonna be hard as hell to get to that 7 figure point. You know, crazy hard. So I'm gonna have to venture out. I'm gonna have to try new things. I'm gonna have to experiment to get to my level of comfort that I want. You know, but the people who I see that are trying to reach for like Bezos status and like they see themselves as like multi-millionaire, like look at the odds, bro. You know, look at the percentages. You know, look what's in bounds for you. That's what I think to these people. Look what's in bounds for you and kind of work with what reality has in store for you. Don't think too highly of yourself, but at the same time, don't think too little of yourself too. So there's some kind of median that has to be met.
So for you, your number is 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
You think, and of course that's gonna change with time, but if you have $1 million annually, you think you have enough time because your basic needs are met, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that number is too large.
Really?
Like I think it's kind of excessive to me.
I've just based that off of the living market and conditions in Toronto
Yeah.
specifically.
But there are so many people who are living all right who don't make anywhere near that much.
Yeah, that's fair.
You
That's
know?
fair. But you know, yeah, you bring up a good point. You're not mistaken. I'm not gonna lie. That's a high figure. I think I'd be happier with less. But I'm aiming for more than I have now. But I'm not. Basically, what I'm trying to say is like there's a threshold that I'm aiming for. You
Mhm.
know, and that threshold is a certain amount for to maintain a certain lifestyle, a house, car, what else? You know, vacations here and there throughout the year. You know,
You could,
those things have a dollar amount.
yeah, you could do that on like half, like not even half. Like you
But
don't.
like there's other aspects too. Like I don't want to have a mortgage. You know, I want to buy a house outright. You know, I don't want to have car payments. I want to buy a car outright. You know, like there's
Mhm.
things that I don't believe in. There's certain like aspects of life to get to certain levels that I don't believe in that I
Mhm.
think money would help skip over for those things. You know,
Okay.
if I had $2 million cash, I'd buy a house. You know, like I would much rather do that than pay for a mortgage for so many years and pay the interest off and all that shit. So there's things that I have goals for,
Mhm.
and that's where the dollar amount comes from.
Okay. Okay. So to answer my original question, what does money mean to me? I very much agree with a lot that you said. So that's why I'm very, very alarmed that you agree. We're on the same page.
I know, right?
Because we had a little short conversation prior, and then I think we were coming from two different angles, right?
Mhm.
So for me, money is a tool to is a tool that you use to get a certain level. You know, it's not something, and the reason I say that is because a lot of people are infatuated with the idea of what money is. In reality, money, there's no value in it.
Mhm.
We're just, it's something that we use to get to buy things, to invest in things. But in reality, the actual concept of money is how much we put, the value that we put in it, right?
Mhm.
So for me, I just want to use it to make like my own personal needs met, my family's needs met, the people who are around me. I like the idea of breaking bread, right?
Mhm.
Like for me, money is a tool in order to make things comfortable in life, you know? And to go back to the conversation that we had a little earlier, I think the problem that lies with money is it becomes somebody's whole world.
Yeah.
You know, people become so infatuated with this concept of what money is at a certain point that that's all that they're striving for instead of striving for being comfortable. Because for me, that's what I want to do. I just want to live a comfortable life. I don't want to be the richest.
Mhm.
I don't want to spend the most money. I'm not looking to be Jeff, whatever that dude's name is. I just want everybody around me to be good, and if that is met, I'm fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this whole infatuation with money is, I think, so crazy because I know people who are willing to like step over other people to get what they want. You
Mhm.
know, and I that whole concept to me is so foreign. You know, like if I'm winning, everybody around me is winning.
Mhm.
But people like Jeff Bezos, Phil Knight, Elon Musk, they're willing to sacrifice anything to get to their goals.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
that in itself is just not right to me. I can't sleep at night knowing that I betrayed or jumped over or stepped on someone
Mhm.
to get the financial stability that I think I need. But in reality, it's much less than what a lot of people are going for. I think if I have a salary of like right now in my head, the number for me is 250.
Mhm.
If I make 250 a year, I'm good, bro. Like I can provide for a family. I can have all the things that you mentioned earlier, and I can go on those trips that I wanted to, right?
Mhm.
Like money is a tool to use. Like let me kind of go back a little bit. Money doesn't bring happiness. However, having a certain level of money is able to kind of facilitate that happiness, you know?
Definitely.
Like if I had a gazillion dollars and no one to spend it with, money has no value, you know? But if I have a certain amount of money and I'm able to provide for the basic needs of everybody around me, then I know that my money has value in the things that I spend it on, and it brings me personal level of happiness that I can sleep at night knowing.
Mhm.
You know, does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You know, another layer that I was thinking about too is like a lot of the things that we want in life, right? Like if let me give you let me kind of break down what I'm saying into an example. If I were to give you a huge house just randomly, say, yo, you don't have to pay a cent on this, just live here for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
right? And a car too. Here,
Yeah.
drive this car for the rest of your life, right? You just have to pay for your own food and your own like expenses and
Yeah.
stuff like that. A lot of people would be happy with that, you know? A lot of
Yeah.
people would be like, oh my God, thank God, this is amazing stuff. But then some people on the flip side would be like, no, I don't want that house or I don't want that car.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I want this, I want this. Certain levels of, I guess, pride and ego will get in the way, you know, like
Yeah.
I want this for myself or like, you know, but to me, I think of that as like that's the real true reward. You know, like the reason why I say house is for space. You know, the reason why I say car is for freedom. You know, like to be.
Yeah.
You know, like there's stuff about there's aspects about those two materialistic items that bring you joy, happiness. You know, like, but having money in the bank doesn't do anything for you. You know,
Mhm.
like yeah, you have opportunities in front of you, but like just sitting on money, just having money does absolutely nothing for you. Does not
100%. Yeah.
change anything for your life.
Mhm.
You know, it's just paper at the end of the day. Like if you take an American $100 bill and you drop it in a puddle, not buying shit with that ever again. You know,
I would try that.
you're drying
I would
it.
try it and spend it on
You know,
food, bro.
like, but like still, like it's shocking to see how, especially. And one thing I'm realizing is that now I'm seeing people at younger ages getting more obsessed with the dollar value of money, you know, or like just a dollar amount. They're like,
Mhm.
yo, when I grow up, I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna have this much cars. I'm gonna have this, and I'm thinking to myself like, yo, the whole route to get to places in life, you know, and this it's not for everybody,
Yeah.
you know. So the glamorization about certain lifestyles to me is it's disgusting, bro. It's sickening, you know, because like it's a false reality, bro. It's
Well,
not gonna happen for you.
it's seeing what you don't have.
Hmm.
A lot of people come
Yeah,
from unfortunate
and it's
circumstances.
making us forget about gratitude. You know, like just simply right now, like the life I live right now, alhamdulillah, it's pretty great. It is pretty great, you know, and even nostalgia is a big deal too. You know, like when I look back on my life, even back when I had less, I'm thinking, damn, those are some good times I
Yeah.
had. You know,
100%.
so like gratitude is missing, and realizing where you are in life is missing. And I feel like the younger age is getting affected by this more, and thinking that the end all be all is money nowadays, but it's not.
I think it's something that all youth go through because what's pushed in our face is in the media. This is what these rappers are like. These are what they're buying. These are the people that they're with. This is the type of money that they're having in these music videos.
Yep.
And then if this is all you're seeing, that's what you pinpoint success to be. If I have all this money, if I'm able to buy all this stuff, like they forget the reason why they need money is for their own financial stability, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're just trying to get anything and everything because that's what Travis Scott has in his video,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the reason why Kanye West has everything that he has. He's a millionaire, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm able to reach the status, I can be Kanye West, you know. But they're forgetting the steps along the way of why you need money. Money has value because the reason you use it,
Mm-hmm.
like the point that you made is there's no, if you have money in the bank and you do nothing with it, the money really has no value, right?
Exactly.
But if I spend it on making sure that my mother is okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to sleep at night knowing that this money has the real value because I did it for the person that I love, right?
100%.
And I think that's something all youth go through, like from ages 12 to like maybe even in their late 20s, where like money is like this thing where you just trying to accumulate it to the point where you think that's going to bring you real happiness,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
And at a certain point, you're going to need to find out that the value of money is really what you spend in it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
And
I think media pushes this image that it really shouldn't.
100,000%, bro. It's all media driven, you know,
Yeah.
because like we live in a capitalism world, driven world,
Yeah.
and we essentially need our economy to survive, right? People need to buy things for us to have more money in our economy, for us
Facts.
to be more like. But at the same time, bro, like one thing that's a weird phenomenon to me, and we touched on this earlier before, but like, you know how many millionaires and billionaires have just committed suicide just
Yeah.
randomly?
Yeah.
Like, what does that tell us? Does that not tell us anything? You know?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of a clear representation that you could have it all, quote unquote, and still be missing valuable aspects of life, you know, like love, compassion, caring. You know, when you get that detached, there's negative consequences that can come with it too. So like having it all isn't as great as they make it seem, you know? So I think people need to start understanding that. And then another part of it too is like, yo, none of this is coming with you in the grave, you know?
100%. Yeah.
So like this is all temporary at the end of the day. You have an expiration date coming, right? So like are you gonna go so hard in life to just get another amount or another set figure of money? Or are you gonna really just enjoy the days we have here? You know, so it goes back to gratitude, like I was saying. Like, are we grateful enough for what we have? Are we being a little too greedy when we have a lot?
Mm-hmm.
And are we not being are we not being helpful enough to help other people financially? You know, like
Facts.
Isn't
Yeah.
it legacy at the same time? A lot of these people that make all this money are leaving it for their kids, and their name's going to be left
mhm,
somewhere.
that is
Like
true.
Jeff Bezos' kids, his kid. I think he get a divorce. No, it was the Microsoft guy. What was his name again?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. He got a divorce. No, Jeff Bezos too. They both got a divorce. Gave their wives some of the money and made that shit back quick.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you, man, like you can quote unquote have it all, but be missing a lot of human aspects of life, you know? And I think people are getting it misconstrued via the media, via, you know, what we value. Like a lot of people want, like when you ask them who are your idols, they're just going to say someone rich and famous,
Mhm.
right? But to be honest, you meet a lot of people, like, we meet a lot of people on a day to day basis that are inspiring, like idols almost, you know, like, but we don't consider them in that same regard because we see them on a day to day basis,
Yeah.
you know. I think just people just we're losing focus on what's important. I think, and it's hard to bring us back down to earth to realize that.
Mhm.
But for the most part, the only advice I would give to people is just be grateful for your time, you know, like that you have, or the moments that you spend, or the memories that you make, because those are the things that are gonna follow you through life when you have
100%.
nothing.
100%.
And if those are times where you look back and you're thinking, oh man, I should have did more, I didn't do this right, then you're gonna have a bad time.
For me, money is step one. Like if I have money and I'm comfortable, that's enough. And then now it's using my time to make it meaningful, like building the relationships with family members, building the relationships with friends, like doing something that I always wanted to do, right? I can be going 100% for so long,
Mm-hmm.
doing all the right moves, but at the end, if I'm just doing this on my own, really, what was the point of those 40 years? It's meaningless. Even though I made all the money in the world,
Mm-hmm.
like really, what value came out of that money?
Mhm.
Like, what can I do with it? Who can I spend it on? Who can I be with? What has my time been? Because I wasted 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So it's like, I think it's better. Like, I rather be broke and be happy than be rich and just be depressed.
I agree. A lot of that has to do with the fact that when you when you have more, I feel like you have less people, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
You know, when you have like a certain abundance of money in your life, right? A lot of people start coming to you for material needs. You know, they don't come to you the same way. They don't connect with you. You're very hard to connect with at that state. You know, so you become a little lonely.
Mhm.
You know, and that's pretty scary on a person because you need people to survive. You know, you
Yeah.
need people to jump off or like get things off of your chest too. You need people to talk to. You need people to bring you back down to earth when necessary. So like once these people start coming to you for just materialistic things or financial goals of theirs, then that's where the detachment kind of starts, you know. And I feel like that's where a lot of the issues start to happen, because when they say more money, more problems, it's real. You
Yeah,
know,
no,
like it's a different set of issues that you're gonna start having to deal with. No one
100%.
is problem free on this planet. No matter what amount of money it's in your bank account, you're gonna have some issues in your life. You know?
Just
Different
different
types
bracket
of yeah,
issues.
different types of issues for sure.
Yeah.
But there's no person that wakes up every single day and life is just good at all
Yeah.
times. There's no human like that exists. There is, show me, because I'm trying to be that. You know,
That's never gonna happen.
I'm just
brother.
saying, you know. But for the most part, like
Yeah.
that whole utopia of like I have billions of dollars, everybody loves me, and nothing's wrong. That's a myth. You know,
Facts.
like there's gonna come a time where you're thinking to yourself, probably I'm just assuming, right? But there's probably gonna come a time where you're thinking to yourself, man, I was a little bit better off when I didn't have this much. You know, I think a lot of the times, and I was, and to kind of tie this back with our conversation, I was watching an interview with J. Cole and Bob Myers from the Warriors. They did an interview together, which is so weird, so random, right? But J. Cole, they were talking about his success, right? And what people see him as. And he brought up a very interesting point. And he asked Bob Myers, sometimes, he said to Bob Myers, sorry, he said, sometimes I ask myself, why do these people care so much that I can rhyme words together? You know, like, why do they care so much to the point where I've gotten all of this in my life, but I don't really see, he doesn't really see, he sees himself as like somebody who's very skilled at what he does, obviously,
Yeah.
but he's like, there's people that are like doctors and scientists that, you know, like that go unnoticed, you know, that humanity should be looking at in this sense.
Yeah.
But to me, somebody who's just a rapper who just rhymes words together on beats, I'm considered like this idol, you know, like he's like, that's kind of weird to him. And the same thing, Steph Curry said the same thing, you know, along the similar lines. He's like, sometimes I wonder, like, why do they care so much, you know? And if those people at those statuses are thinking that, then that makes me question the whole thought process of being this whole celebrity status, rich person, you know? Is that all a myth? That's my question.
It is. I think a lot of celebrities get stuck in this idea of people loving you. Like, you know, one of the things that to go back to what we were talking about earlier, like once you obtain all this stuff, maybe you have like a huge fan base, right? And if all these people are telling you you're amazing, you start to internalize it, right?
Yeah.
And then the second that you do one thing incorrectly, like these people, the same people who told you you're amazing are going to be the first to turn on you, right?
Yeah.
So if that's what you've been working on, it's like the most fragile, like, success that you can find. And then the second it breaks on you, what are you really? You're going to be turned into the depressed or sad aspect of who you are. And then, you know, that's, I think, an element as to why celebrities will never find true happiness, because they're basing it off of something relative that can go at any second, you know?
That's a good point. I'm not gonna lie, I never even thought about it like that. It's such a temporary thing in their life.
It
They're
is.
probably just thinking, damn, I don't want this to go.
Broski, we create people to break them down. Are you taking that in? 100%. We build people up, tell them all the good things that they are, make them like believe that they're incredible, just to rip them down when they're at their peak. Human nature is like that. Like, let me give you an example of somebody. Russell Westbrook. I think he's a perfect example. But to give you somebody more mainstream, maybe somebody who comes to mind. Nobody comes to mind.
Who's somebody that we tore down after putting them on a high pedestal?
I don't know. My mind goes to Justin Bieber.
We did tear that down. I'm not gonna lie.
What does tear down to you guys? What do you guys mean?
I mean, like
we told him we loved him. Like when he was 12 years old, he came into
Britney
this industry.
Spears.
That's good.
Britney Spears is a good example.
Yeah, that's a really good example.
She did nothing wrong.
That's a really good example.
She did nothing
wrong. Like when we were kids, she went absolutely like.
She went berserk. Man.
Yeah.
Her family tore her down. I don't think society tore her down.
I think society did tear her down.
Yeah.
Paparazzi tore her down. The media tore her down.
How?
Bro, she had a camera in her face since she was 13. I watched a documentary about Britney Spears recently.
There was like 3 of them. Man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. What happened to her is insane, bro. I feel so bad for that woman.
Justin Timberlake is the biggest asshole.
Oh, he's a piece of shit, man. You know what's crazy? I'm kind of indifferent about that too, though.
Like
not what he did to her, but like I like just the
That guy did it to 2 women. He did it to Janet
Really?
Jackson too, eh?
what?
Remember he
Oh, yeah,
ripped
yeah,
her,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
he faced no repercussions, but Janet Jackson faced all the like for the longest of time she was kind of blacklisted,
But
right?
like, I don't know if that was like legit.
He never
We were supposed to show her titty on camera.
no, it wasn't legit. And then there was no repercussions he's faced up until like recently.
Do
Where,
you think he did that on purpose
yeah,
to show her titty?
either that or it was a mistake, but he took no accountability.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Like he
Is
he
Justin
tore.
Timberlake a scumbag, fam? Is that what you're
Yeah,
telling me right now?
he's a scumbag.
I don't want him to be a scumbag, man. Don't make
No,
him a
but on
scumbag.
a serious note, but I'm trying to think of somebody who we gave.
Britney Spears
everything
is a
to.
good example because that woman did nothing wrong in society, like society standards, but
Yeah.
just be popular and talented, right? And the media saw that and ran with it so much so to the point where they couldn't leave this woman alone, and she physically started to feel different because of that, right? Like her mental sanity started to go away because of that. Like she
Saved her head.
always had a camera in her face at all time. Even just thinking about it, like realistically speaking, fam, just having that many flashes in your face, wouldn't that hurt your eyes or mess up your eyes?
Possibly, like
Right?
100%. She's
Like
in
there's
front of a camera all the
there's
time.
so much wrong that they did because there was no sense of privacy at all, especially in those times, you know, like 2000, early 2000s, mid 2000s. There was no sense of privacy, right?
Mm.
And they followed this girl like stalkers, bro, like beyond stalkers. She would try to go to the other side of the world.
Yeah,
Paparazzi's there instantly. She can move houses. She could do anything she
I got
wants to
you.
get away,
yeah.
but they're gonna find her like vultures, right?
You know another person I just thought of right now? I think Ariana Grande.
Yeah, yeah. You
Ariana
heard the whole
Grande?
thing about her
Yes,
thinness?
and that's the reason why I brought it.
Yeah.
I brought it up because in 2015 when she got big, right?
She got
People
big.
like she got big, like
Oh, like status?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
status wise. She came out with her hit single with Mac Miller, and then people were like, "Yo, you're so talented, you're so incredible," and she came out with so many bangers back to back to back.
Can
And
you name
then
them?
when somebody, 100%.
Give me some, give me
I
some
have a couple
bang-
of
give me some-
you know, I was a big fan back
I
in
know,
the day. But like to the point that I'm making,
Yeah.
people started noticing there was a shift in the way that her body looks.
Mhm,
Like it didn't look nothing like how she looked when she initially came in, right?
mhm.
So the same way that we brought her up, we started tearing her down. People started calling her anorexic. People started calling her sick. People started calling her weird looking, right?
Mhm.
To the point where this girl, and it was so weird because you saw the humanity in this girl.
Mhm.
She came out with like a 3 to 4 minute video as to saying like, I hear you, and I'm hurt by what you guys are saying to me publicly,
Mhm.
and I think we should be more uncomfortable talking about people's body publicly because it could have repercussions. Like I'm mentally unwell because of what you guys said to me.
Mhm.
And this story blew up because a lot of people who were tearing her down started noticing how stupid they look.
Yeah.
You know, she was basically saying, "I'm at my healthiest right now."
Yeah, she's saying, yeah, the photos you guys are
Yeah.
saying, I looked healthy and it was my least healthy.
Exactly, the version that you've seen of me that you guys are in love with
Mhm.
is the time where I was depressed. I think I don't want to say it wrong, but I think she said I was drinking alcohol. Like I'm not the best version of myself that you guys like.
Mhm.
So now that I'm feeling better about myself, you guys are tearing me down.
Based
know?
off of speculation.
Based off of speculation. And it's like people love to do that, bro. We build somebody up till they're the greatest of the high, and then we just bring them down. Like, you know, like this image of somebody at the top and like 100 hands going to them and bringing them down to their level, because we just always want to see somebody below us. You know what I mean?
You
It's
know,
so bizarre.
I originally asked why, but now after having this conversation a little bit, I'm starting to think it's jealousy based.
100% is jealousy.
Yeah.
It's 100%. Like,
And it goes back to what we were saying too before with that whole out of sight, out of mind.
yeah.
If I'm 300,000 miles away from Ariana Grande, and I'm saying on my phone to her, "You look super skinny, anorexic,
Yeah.
you know, blah blah blah."
She's not real.
Yeah, it's not even
real.
like it's not even affecting me at
Yeah.
all. Like I don't care if she sees it and feels upset. That's how
Yeah.
most people are thinking. So, I guess a lot of it has to do with what we're exposed to. I
Mhm.
feel like some celebrities should do a better job, or people in those positions should do a better job of or maintaining their privacy.
Yeah.
Right. But like you said, you can't control the hive mind, right? Because Ariana Grande literally is what? She's shooting a movie right now or something like that.
I don't know.
And people are just seeing photos of her on the streets and saying, "Oh my gosh, she's sick. What's wrong with her?" But and like creating a narrative out of nowhere. You know, it's a little weird to me that people put people on pedestals like this because you don't know them.
Yo,
Never met them.
another one, and not to get too off topic, but Chadwick Boseman. Remember how
Yeah.
he was amazing and we loved him. Everybody
Mhm.
was like, this is one of the best black actors of our time. And then when we started seeing him lose dramatic weight, the first thing that we did was talk shit about
We
him,
clowned him, fam.
not knowing that this man was
dying.
like, he was facing demons behind the scenes,
Fam, he
right?
was
The
literally
people
dying.
around him didn't even know that he had cancer, right?
That's so crazy.
So
man.
human nature, we're so willing to just attack.
But
And
it seems like we don't learn our lesson
no,
from
we
like
don't.
the demise of these people. Like, look what happened. No one cares where Britney Spears is today. I don't see many people talking about Chadwick Boseman.
To counter that point, a lot of Britney's fans are the reason why she's free now, because there was a contract that she had with her parents
Mhm.
as to be like the sole
Yeah,
like
the
decision.
consortership
And
or something
yeah,
like that.
and now that her fans kind of advocated for her,
Mhm.
she is freed. Like that, it doesn't exist anymore. But
Mhm.
to that point, her fans are so obsessed with her safety that now they routinely send police officers to her house
Like,
to check up on her.
Like,
And she had to publicly come out and say, "I'm good. You guys don't need to do that." You know,
what is wrong with people? What is wrong with people?
people
Like,
are so invested in other people
that's
instead of investing in their own
that's
time and
so-
financial benefit.
that boggles my mind like never before. The fact that you can never have met a human being, know them through media, and then think you have some kind of responsibility for that human being that's never doesn't even know you are existing.
Oh, I have to vouch for LeBron James, fam. That's
Fam,
my
you're
goal.
gonna
That's
make
my
sure-
goal. That's my goal.
LeBron wakes up without his glass of water next to him. You're thinking about it a lot.
Yo, that's
You're
my
like,
guy.
oh, LeBron's
That's
thirsty.
my guy.
Come on, man.
No, but I totally agree. It's so bizarre that we are connected to people who we don't even know.
I think it's great to get inspiration from people, especially figures like that. I
Mhm.
think it's great to be inspired, but for that to be the end all be all is a little scary, man. Because like this person can't do any wrong in your eyes, and if they do, then your whole reality is messed up.
Facts.
You know, so like the people that are like Team Ariana, Die Hard, you know, I'm gonna buy every T-shirt, I'm gonna buy everything. Like, just know what you're getting yourself into, you know, like, come on, man.
Well, you know what? She has financial freedom, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she can buy whatever she wants. You know,
But even with that financial freedom,
comes
it doesn't
burdens.
suffice the mental capacity that she has to deal with this bullshit.
Yeah,
You know?
and she doesn't deserve it, bro. Because like I said, she didn't do anything wrong. She's
Yeah.
living her life. You know, a lot of these people are just living their life, but they're getting scrutinized like crazy, and it's weird, bro. It's like I
That's
don't
what
know.
happens when you're in the eye of the media.
But I feel
Yeah.
like there's people that thrive off of that don't get like
Kardashians.
yeah.
That's their talent.
That's
A
their
lot of
whole-
people say Kardashians are not talented. That's their talent.
You know, I had a hot take I was telling my brother the other day. I think Donald Trump needs a camera crew following him.
He's a Kardashian.
That's what I'm saying. I think there needs to be, because like I think when it comes to real presidency and changes, that guy should not be anywhere near that. I think he needs to have a camera crew
He's
following
funny,
him.
bro.
There needs to be a show called Donald. Just Donald.
Nah.
And then just literally follow him on his day-to-day basis gold, bro. It's gonna be rivaling the Kardashians.
I'll tell you right now, that guy is a level 10 roaster, bro.
I know.
He's so when he
You wouldn't
roasts
want to see
people,
him just going into a Starbucks or something like that, getting cheese at someone.
He'll never get fired. He's a millionaire. You
Yeah,
think he's gonna
but
do that?
Even him getting mad at his like secret service niggas. I want to see that, bro. Like just
Nah.
just be a normal human being.
Fam, he had a whole
on
show when
camera.
we were a kid, though. Like, you know,
But that show was like Celebrity Apprentice was like him being the boss of people and then them working to get some position in the company and then him firing them. It was a
but
whole like
it
business
was,
show.
It was, at the end of the day, it
He
was
needs-
reality TV.
A Kim Kardashian like show where just the
He's
cameras
trying
are
to-
following him and he just go. That would be gold comedy gold.
That's funny, bro.
Because
a lot of people watch that. A lot of
he
people
eats
watch.
McDonald's, right?
Yeah, he loves that.
Imagine his ordering process at McDonald's. I think that's gonna be like 10, 15 million views on YouTube.
It would, but I think I think the thing is, I think it would damage his reputation because he's trying to become the president.
Yeah,
again,
he's.
you know?
I
People
mean,
shouldn't
this would be after the fact where
Yeah.
he realizes he can't be a president again. You know, like if he
That's
just
fair.
says, "Yo, get me the camera crew," and I'm gonna start watching.
I would watch too.
I'm not
Even though I'm
gonna
not a
lie.
fan of
I'm
him.
not a
I would
fan of him, but like
watch.
I'm a fan of his antics. You know what I mean?
He's a funny dude. That's why.
Exactly. I think a
Yeah.
lot of it has to do with like to tie it back to the conversation we're having. Like people are getting too attached to the wrong thing. You know,
Mhm.
money, status, success. You know, all of these things are subjective. You know, if you really take them in, like you said, money is paper at the end
Facts,
of the day.
yeah.
You know, status has scrutiny. You know, like all these things have, you know, like they come with they come with great things, but you also have to sacrifice certain things for them, you know?
Yeah.
So like know what your values are, I would say. Understand who you are as a person, and then kind of build your path with that knowing, you know, that understanding, and then life will be so much easier, bro. I feel like gratitude is missing. Like I said earlier, being grateful is harder to do nowadays for some people because of what they see online and what they don't have and all the things that's missing in life. But for the most part, when we all look back on our lives, there's points and aspects or memories that we can point to that were like, man, that was such a great time in my life, you know. And even now, you know, like some of the times we're living in, we don't even realize we're blind to the fact that some of the greatest years of our lives, you know. So like, be content with what you have, but don't settle for what you're less or what don't settle for less than your value is basically what I'm saying. But at the same time, understand like the moment, being in the moment is where it's at. You know, it's not
That
all
was
about.
incredible.
Thanks, man.
I
Thanks.
think I was looking at that was a clip.
Clip.
Like, that was amazing, bro.
Clip.
But yeah, I think that was the best way to end the episode. But whatever he said, times two.
Gang.
But thanks for watching another episode of the Coffee Break Podcast. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube page, our Instagram, our TikTok, follow everything, you know?
Listen,
And
I just want to say too, we have an amazing summer on the way, guys.
100%.
This year, you guys are gonna see Coffee Break Podcast like you never did before, and I'm excited. This guy's excited. This guy's excited. So much good, dope new stuff to try out. I want you guys
Inshallah,
to
yeah.
see it, inshallah. So stay tuned.
Peace.